You're 40 degrees. Our referee, Jerry, marked right there in the background. We had a little snow flurry this morning, but no forecast for any more.
It's tails. Kansas City wins the toss.
So the Chiefs, having won the toss, will have the first possession.
That means the veteran Steve DeBerg will go to work. And I know that Dick Vermeil is among the coaches who believes that sometimes it's better in a playoff game to lose the flip and go on the defense.
So that first
It
possession.
is. I've made a few mistakes in the past by not doing that.
So we'll get an opportunity here today to see the Raiders and the Chiefs go at it for the third time this season. Kansas City won both meetings during the regular season, coming from behind in their first contest here at Arrowhead, and then with their performance last week in the Los Angeles Coliseum, earning them the home field advantage. And the story out of that game from a Los Angeles perspective was this young man. 23 of 40 for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the word you keep hearing from everyone about the job he did is poise.
And I'll tell you, poise and touch on the football. You know, he doesn't have the real strong gun, but it's strong enough to throw anything he has to throw to beat you.
Every time I see a left-hander wearing number 12, it reminds me of one Kenny Snake Stable. And here is a number 12, a left-handed quarterback in the silver and black. We get ready to get this one started. Stratford back deep for the Chiefs. Troy Stratford, number 25. Fred Jones, number 80, on the right-hand side. Underway in Kansas City. Stratford at the 15. Seam. Stratford with an excellent return out to the 35 and a penalty flag flying on the opening kickoff. So the holding penalty will move it back against Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs offense as they come out for their first series here. A couple of weeks ago, he lost his job to Mark Vlasic. Vlasic injured against the 49ers. DeBerg returns to the lineup, and why not? He has had a brilliant career against the Raiders. Barry Word rushing for 152 yards. He's the big back who has to be stopped here today as far as the Raiders are concerned defensively. They like to follow the offset fullback Jones. This time Word will step up the middle behind the right side of the offensive line, and Bob Golick in the middle of that Raider defense. Now, the offensive line last week with a big change. Derek Graham, the youngster, moved in at right tackle and started for the Chiefs. Dick, how did he grade out for them last week against the Raiders?
I thought he did a real good job. He had pass protection problems twice with Greg Townsend, but other than that, he played awfully well.
2nd and 8 for the Chiefs. Ball on their own 22. Word hammering away at the middle. And remember, it was his ball control running efforts late in that game that ran the clock out of the Raiders and did not permit Marinovich to get one last possession when they needed it. Howie Long draws a start today. He has been out the last couple of weeks because of an injury, although he was in for about a dozen snaps last week. The 3 linebackers, Ricky Ellison, the man in the middle who has to step up big against Barry Word. A very talented secondary. Eddie Anderson, a free safety. Very underrated player as Todd McNair comes into the shotgun. He will sometimes slide out as a receiver. DeBerg fires complete to Rob Thomas with his first pass of the game. Thomas reaching that first down marker on the far side.
You know, anticipating man coverage, they brought Thomas in from the outside flanker position in motion, then just sort of scraped him out underneath the slot for that first down play.
The Chiefs move the ball to the 24-yard line for a first down. A week ago in the Coliseum, they recorded 30 first downs in dominating this Raider defense.
206 yards rushing.
J.J. Burton has caught 8 balls, including 2 long scoring strikes, is off to DeBerg's right. And they press him at the line of scrimmage. Now they drop quickly off on the snap. DeBerg fires again underneath to Thomas. He has hit him twice in a row. Thomas out to the 33-yard line, and Lionel Washington there defensively for the Raiders.
See, what they do is they force you to take on those 4 300-pound offensive linemen and a 245-pound back. They pound on you, they pound on you. All of a sudden, they get your first down. You're playing the run. They come with that play action. That was a combination pattern to work against both man or zone. They went zone, they threw the zone receiver.
Howie Long in the middle of that defensive line, lining up at left tackle inside of Townsend. Barry Word steps into the middle of that defense, and Townsend, what's important here, Dick, is that he went down on the initial hit. So many times last Sunday, he would get through the initial hit, and it would be the support from the secondary and the linebackers that would finally bring him down.
Well, I tell you what Howie Long told me last night. He said, Coach, there was no lack of intensity last week. There was lack of location. We didn't tackle him low enough. Our location was not good. Today we're going after him much lower.
3rd and short from the eye, and guess who? Barry Word. There he broke the first tackle, made it to the 39-yard line, and a Kansas City first down.
Whenever you run the ball in short yardage from the I formation, you have to rely on your fullback. Follow the big fullback, number 43, Jones. See, he gets the little turnout block out there and allows Ward to break up inside, and then just his own power, he runs through people. You've got to get your pads down, you've got to hit him low, and you've got to hit him with more than 1 or 2 people.
So many talented running backs on this Kansas City team. Christian Okoye, who's been out with a little bit of an injured knee, can play today. Harvey Williams is back. Barry Word stopped on first down, and this is going to leave the Chiefs with a 2nd and 10 as Scott Davis, number 70, came up big.
You know, Scott made a few of those plays last week, and this is what the Raiders have to do. They have to shut down that first down run, and I think the way they can do that, Brent, is be more aggressive with the charge of the down 4 linemen. Last week, they looked like they did a lot of reading and flowing. I think this week, they're going to attack a little bit more and take those big people on.
37-year-old Steve DeBerg, oldest starting quarterback in the NFL, and with Pat Leahy off the active list for the Jets, the oldest player in the NFL. In uniform as we begin the playoffs. Off a play fake, buys himself time, and hits his fullback, Jones. So the running back who has not carried the ball from scrimmage once slips out and burns the Raider defense as a receiver, something he has done against Los Angeles in the past.
Well, again, they see Jones is their lead blocker. He never carries the football, hasn't carried the ball once all year. But he goes to lead block instead of blocking. He slips out into the flat for the completion. Take a look at this. Now you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, earlier we talked about his blocking the linebacker. This time, he's not going to block the linebacker. He's going to slip out in the flat to the right side of your screen, play action. In fact, there he is. See, defender's not even seeing him come out there. First down.
16 yards, takes it inside the Raider 45-yard line. This the Chiefs' initial drive. Word blasts for a couple of yards, and now he has carried the ball 6 of the 9 plays the Chiefs have called so far. Bob Golick and Ricky Ellison there defensively for the Raiders.
Here's a good graphic on where he has been very effective the last 4 weeks, as you see by this graphic. And he gets better as the ball game goes. You watch him run last week in that second half, he was really moving.
Now they will change the pace a little bit as Marty Schottenheimer sends Harvey Williams, number 44, the young man from LSU, into the game, out with an eye injury last week. He's a little flashier, gives him a little more dash out of that backfield. DeBerg gets time again and fires to Thomas. That's his 3rd completion on this drive. So it was Burden last Sunday, and today it is Rob Thomas who has caught 3 for 18 yards.
You know, they put Harvey Williams in there actually as a decoy. He is their outside runner, their elusive runner, as you said, Brent. This time he was the pass protection man. Moss, the linebacker, came, he blitzed, he blocked him nicely, allowed DeBerg time to throw that completed pass.
And getting a pat on the helmet for his blocking effort that time. Last time playoff game a year ago down in Miami, the Chiefs were only 1 of 11 on 3rd down. They've already converted 2 here today. And Barry Ward breaks off that first defender and gets inside the 35-yard line, close to a 1st down. This is going to depend on the spot. Lionel Washington makes the hit, and Howie Long cleans it up.
They're going to measure. I would assume right off the bat that they will go for it, Brent. They have momentum. They want to get this crowd even into the game a little bit more. They've been very good on 4th down situations and converting 12 of 20. Chances are they're going to go ahead and pound at it.
If I had Barry Word.
Or, hey, why not put in your 260-pounder? He's ready to play.
Christian
Okoye. See, people criticize Kansas City for their style of offense, but what they're doing is taking advantage of their talent. A little bit short, he'll go. If you've got a 260-pound running back and a 245-pound running back, might as well give him the ball.
And they are playing this like the New York Giants of a year ago. A 7-minute drive here with their first possession. Coming up to their 4th down, and of course Bill Parcells made a living off of 4th downs in the Giants' drive for a championship a year ago. For the season, the Chiefs are 12 of 20 on 4th down and make it 13 of 21 as Word goes behind the middle of the offensive line. Barry Word is a remarkable story. He was suspended and actually spent time in prison down in New Orleans for intent to distribute cocaine. Then he came out and decided that he was tired of football, left the team, went back to the East Coast, and the Chiefs came after him a couple of seasons ago. Carl Peterson contacted him. The young man passes a drug test twice a week, and here he is, one of the fine runners in the National Football League, blasting through the middle to the 20-yard line.
Real good job by David Zott, Tim Grunhard, and David Lutz inside. See, good block right there by Grunhard, number 61. The key block at that. He blocked the nose guard. The nose guard went to the offensive right. He ran in behind him efficiently. Good job of reading that block.
Just like last Sunday, the Raider defense having difficulty stopping the running game of Kansas City, and that makes everything else open up for the Chiefs. Word again. Got a couple of yards to the 17-yard line. And Eddie Anderson, number 33. Certainly Ronnie Lott gets and deserves a lot of publicity, but I know, Dick, that you feel, along with a lot of other football folks, that Anderson is really underrated.
Well, he plays really good. He's their leading tackler. He makes plays. Last week he was a little too aggressive against play action passing and got burned.
Of course, what makes that play action work is the success of a running game, because they need run support when Barry Word starts to crash behind the tackles like he's done here so far in the opening quarter. Ricky Ellison there defensively.
Right. See, we're up to almost 10 minutes on this drive, and they haven't thrown them for a loss of any kind. They've got to come with some kind of defensive call that includes linebacker blitz that is tough to pick up by the zone blocking of the offensive line, and see if they can't hit him in the backfield.
They want to start the Atlanta-New Orleans game early. This may be the quickest playoff game in history.
There's the brain trust.
Archell still got time to change his mind and start Jay Schrader after all. 16th play coming up on this drive for the Chiefs. Barry Word, and there's the best defensive effort, and it was Ellison, number 50, getting across the line defensively for the Raiders. And that will force the Chiefs to go for a field goal. Big play by Ricky Ellison.
Here's what I was talking about. See, you got to commit your linebacker, get him up inside there. Don't let him get bumped off by an offensive lineman. See, get in and throw him for a loss. They're going to have to do that more in this ball game, all 4 quarters. Of course, when you're doing that, you're singling somebody else up, so then the play action works a little bit better. But you might as well stop what they do best first. They'll run the ball.
One of the great veteran kickers, Nick Lauer. 33-yard attempt.
He doesn't miss many. 8 for 8 from this distance this year.
And he does does miss here. The Raiders have to take heart. After that ball control drive by Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs, the team comes away empty. We'll be right back. And now the focus shifts to young Todd Marinovich. Will he be as successful in a hostile environment as he was on his home turf in the Los Angeles Coliseum? We're about to find out. And the crowd is going to make it difficult for him to audible at the line of scrimmage. No question. The hand is to the fullback, Smith. So something we could see today is Steve Smith, the veteran out of Penn State, because, Dick, you keep saying that what Marinovich needs here today is a running game, and we could be getting it from Smith and Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen ran awfully well last week, just didn't get to run it often enough.
The offensive line with some familiar names, John Mospar and Steve Wisniewski, head for the Pro Bowl in Hawaii at the end of this season. Wisniewski, like Smith, out of Penn State, played for Joe Paterno. Second and 7 for Marinovich. Ball on the Raiders 23, and Marcus Allen's first carry hit by Dan Saliamuo, the nose man of the Chiefs. Defensively for Kansas City, there are a couple of names that'll jump off these graphics at you. Neil Smith out of Nebraska, former #1, enjoying a fine season. Derek Thomas has been slowed a little bit as the offenses have really focused on stopping him. And at secondary, Deron Cherry holding together an injured quartet. Third down as the Raiders come out running. Only 2 running plays in the second half. A week ago, they equal that on the first 2 snaps here this afternoon. There was movement in the line. The penalty flag down. Marinovich throws high and incomplete. Let's see if the defensive lineman was drawn off.
I didn't see any offensive player move. They're closer to it.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
Dick, how disheartening is that missed field goal from Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs?
Well, number 63, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Here's a look at that. You'll see the man move on the middle of your screen. They're getting ready to crank up and go up. There he goes. Right there, that's Bill Moss. No offensive player moved or lifted a hand. Of course, he thinks someone did. Getting back to your point, though, it takes a little out of you, especially when your whole offensive philosophy is ball control. You control the ball and don't get anything out of it, you're in trouble.
Here is Smith again. 3 tough yards. Of course, we mentioned Atlanta and New Orleans, so a reminder that will be coming up next on ABC. The Saints returned the favor in Atlanta when they met there, so we will see what happens when that one unfolds after this game. There's Art Shell trying to bring together the Raiders, who come into the playoffs with a 3-game losing streak. First time ever for Los Angeles or Oakland. Marcus Allen stepping back into the hole. Derek Thomas, number 58.
Derek Thomas comes really quick off the outside and right down underneath the blocker. Here he is. And he told us yesterday they were going to turn him loose a little bit more. See, he got his pads underneath the blocker, kept penetrating, and got to the ball carrier. Good job by Derek Thomas.
Always watch out for Derek Thomas on artificial turf. He is so quick that it's almost impossible for many of the offensive blockers to get him when he's playing on surface like this. Now Marinovich. He gets his time. Intercepted. Picked off by Cherry. So Marinovich did not throw a single interception last Sunday, and he throws a big one here in the opening quarter.
He comes out of a robber position. He gives the impression that he's going to go too deep to the left side of your screen, number 20. See, instead of dropping too deep, he comes into what we call the robber position. Hard to read that defense. Even veterans make a mistake on that one.
Is it possible that they're showing young Marinovich some different defensive looks in this game?
No question they're going to do that, because last week, you know, he threw a couple touchdowns against this type of defense to Tim Brown.
So the defensive coaching staff, with a week to sit and watch the tapes over and over again and work with a veteran defensive backfield, and they come up with a huge turnover here in the opening quarter. Now for DeBerg. On first down, Barry Word hit from the side by a blitzing Eddie Anderson that time.
They're going to have to do more of that than they really want to from a philosophical standpoint to stop the running back. But getting back to Marinovic's interception, the other thing he did is he looked at it all the way. He looked at it all the way. The safety came up into the robber position, and he just watched the quarterback's eyes and gradually moved. He set him up for that throw.
Harvey Williams enters the game again as Marinovich goes over to the Raider bench and gets on the telephone with Mike White, the quarterback coach, upstairs for a discussion of that turnover. This is Williams getting his first carry of the game. He picks up a couple of tough yards as Scott Davis and Bob Golick, a couple of fine defensive linemen, take him down. So the first quarter coming to an end here, a scoreless one. Kansas City missing a field goal, and we'll return with the second quarter between the Raiders and the Chiefs after this message and a word from our ABC station. Last week in Coliseum, both teams had scored at the end of the first quarter. It was 7-all. Barry Word had crashed in, and Tim Brown caught that beautiful 26-yarder from Marinovich. 3rd and 9 yards here for Kansas City. How have the Chiefs been on third down this season?
Well, they ranked 3rd in the AFC, 6th in the NFL in converting, 44.9, let's say 45%. So they have been pretty good. Down in this area of the field, it's tougher to convert the 3rd and 9 than it is out in the open field.
The shotgun, which means that Todd McNair is into that backfield. 4 wide receivers. The offensive line didn't give him enough time as Davis got off his block and came in from behind and came close to forcing a fumble. That's the second huge play by Davis in this game.
Scott Davis came all the way around the outside of John Alt. Now the sack was really caused by the coverage. See, he had nobody to throw to. Plenty of time to throw. Coverage did a good job. And here comes Big Davis all the way around the outside, getting his 7th sack.
That ball did come loose, and we get confirmation that Tim Grunhardt, the center, pounced on it. We'll be right back. Now watch the end of this play. As Davis comes around behind, he is able to knock the ball free. But center Grunhardt alertly gets down on it, and it will set up a field goal opportunity. But meanwhile, Barnett was running this pattern, and Ronnie Lott came up and gave him a shot from that strong safety position. So he was shaken up, but he's all right now on the sideline.
You know, as we noticed in evaluating the game tapes from last week, the Kansas City wide receivers did a great job of blocking those guys. That's probably why Lott went after him.
A 44-yard attempt to make it 47. He has missed from 33. This one's wide to the right. So Nick Lowry 0 for 2. Oh, that has to bring up ugly memories here in Kansas City of that last time the playoff game was here. Wow, we'll be right back. Well, Nick Lowry during the regular season was 25 of 30. But now he's mired in his worst slump, having missed 4 of his last 5. And he is noted as the most accurate field goal kicker, perhaps in the history of the league. Marinovich on first down goes long to Galt, and he was defended by Pearson. Pearson shaken up on the play here on the sideline, too, on the coverage of Galt.
Boy, they can afford to lose Pearson. You know, with Albert Lewis, the Pro Bowler, out of the ball game, J.C. Pearson has been the starter since he got hurt. Therefore, they've played more zone coverage than they normally do here at Kansas City. It looks like he just got poked in the eye.
So Eric Everett replaces him as Pearson must...
And injured in the white in front of their bench were holding up play.
So there's the explanation as to why the ball is not being snapped.
Here's Here's Galt, number 83, going back for the football. Now he goes up and see the one hand. Yeah, his left hand goes in the face mask and gets him, it looks like, in the left eye. Now they have to come in with Eric Everett, a player that was with the Eagles, was with Tampa Bay, was with other people. Here he is playing, wasn't on the roster in training camp.
2nd and 10. Ball at the 30, handed off to Marcus Allen, and he gets to the 37-yard line. So with Dick Vermeil and Lynn Swan, I'm Brent Musburger here at Arrowhead Stadium. The first time in 20 years that a playoff game has been staged in this city, and the first one ever for Arrowhead. The last one was an old municipal stadium. 3rd and 2 for the Raiders. This is Allen again, getting outside, and a Raider first down, out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
You know, Marcus was really impressive to me last week in watching him run. You start thinking as a coach that maybe a running back 31, 32 years old has lost a step. But this guy did not appear to lose anything in last week's ballgame. He's healthy and ready to run. Taking a look at the first quarter stats, hey, 3 minutes time of possession, 12 minutes time of possession. Totally dominated, but no points scored by Kansas City. One big play by the Raiders, and they're leading regardless of the clock time.
Chiefs having missed a pair of field goals there already in the early going. Now after the 10-yard run by Allen on first down, this is Marcus again, and the veteran gets to the 45-yard line. A little bit different game plan for the Raiders here this afternoon.
More emphasis on the running. And do you notice how Marcus comes to the line of scrimmage? Not full bore. He's coming there gliding a little bit, and he's looking and going to pick the spot he's going to run rather than blasting up in there blindly. And the Raiders use big, wide line splits, and that spreads that defense out.
Eric Everett still playing at the left corner. I'm sure the offensive coaches will want to test him before long. Marinovich snaps one to the left to Galt. Galt to the 33-yard line. He has been missing in action the last few weeks for the Raiders also.
Well, he caught 20 balls all year, has 298 of them in his career, but only 20 this season. Normally, that's not the receiver's fault. It's either game plan by the coaches or the quarterback or coverage is just not letting him get it there. Here it is, just a little slant pattern. See, Kevin Ross, the veteran, fine player, closes on it nicely, but boy, that's tough to defend by yourself. You usually need some help underneath.
1st and 10. Allen cutting back and stopped at the 30-yard line. Saleamua.
Marcus Allen, the ball carrier.
Marcus Allen, if there ever is anybody that was a Raider, he is one. The #1 rusher in the history of the organization. 8,244 yards, Brent. That's a lot of rushing yards.
Take the word from the Chiefs bench. Barnett, injured left hip. Questionable as to whether or not he'll return here today.
You know,
and the Chiefs say that they were pulled off as they come busting across the line.
You know what I sometimes can't figure out from the booth? I probably did the same thing when I was on the field, but I look down there, they throw a pass to Willie Galt on an all-pro corner. At the other corner, playing in an injured player's position, is a guy from the free agent. I mean, out of the World League, and has hardly played at all. Why not throw it to him? What do you think?
That's why we make a living in the booth, second-guessing decisions like that. Wisniewski.
Anthony Parker over there at one spot.
Wisniewski was the lineman that moved and pulled the defense offside. So that brings the ball back to the other side of the 35-yard line. And now the tight end, Horton, lining up in the backfield. He'll slip out. Marinovich hit from behind. The ball is free, and the Chiefs recover. Moss pounces on the free ball.
Was Derek Thomas beating Bruce Wilkerson hard to the outside. Wilkerson did not stretch him. Straight drop back pass is going to set up in 5 steps. He sets, he's looking. See, there comes Thomas all the way around Wilkerson. Wilkerson's going to have to jam him to slow him down.
Derek Thomas turning in the big play for the Chiefs defense. They have the ball on their own 43-yard line. We're scoreless. We're in the second quarter. The Chiefs and the Raiders. And DeBerg is 4 of 4 for 34 yards against Los Angeles here in the first half. DeBerg firing short, and he is still perfect. He hit running back Barry Word after faking the ball to him. And let's take again a look at that speed that Derek Thomas brings in defensively.
This young man has sacked the quarterback in the last 3 years more than anybody else in the National Football League, and here he's adding to him. You know, yesterday he said he had a meeting with the head coach, meaning Marty Schottenheimer, in a very serious talk because Marty was not pleased with his performance. And he said, you know, the coach, last time Marty did that to me, I had 7 sacks the next game. He's starting out right.
Barry Word running into that defensive line that no longer includes Howie Long. Howie Long is out as Bob Golick makes the stop, but it was a Kansas City first down.
But Kansas City has been super at taking the ball away. They took it away 33 times this year, 45 times last year, equals the Philadelphia Eagles for the last 2 years. They've taken the ball away 78 times the last 2 seasons. That's a lot of them.
That was Earl Leggett, a former star with the Chicago Bears there. A coach talking to Howie Long along the Raiders sideline. DeBerg, beautiful play fake. Firing, deflected, intercepted by Lott. Ronnie Lott to midfield and still moving to the 44-yard line as John Alt finally brings Lott down. Ronnie's 9th interception of the season and a 36-yard return.
He really reacts to the run. Now he finds out it's a pass. He's, oh my God, I got to get out of here. Here he goes. Here it is. Now he bats the ball right there into Lott's hands. He causes the interception. Really good hustle by Ricky Ellison.
Ronnie Lott, ever the opportunist. 9th interception on the season. And remember, it was his blow that knocked Barnett out of the game, and it was Ricky Ellison who tapped the ball. And Steve Smith along with Big and Nick Bell in that Raider backfield. Here's Nick Bell, the rookie from Iowa's first carry, and Derek Thomas there to greet him.
They're going to have to block him from the backside of the defense because they pull the offensive lineman. He comes down. He's going to make the play. Here he is. You'll see the lineman pull. That shortens the corner. Now he comes all the way down from the backside and makes that play. That tackle has to turn back much sooner, Brent, or they'll never get off tackle.
Well, they brushed him last week with the tight end Horton almost all game long.
Right, but they only had 1 tight end in the game that time, and they ran toward him.
2nd and 11. The ball at the Kansas City 45-yard line. We're scoreless here in the first half. Marinovich dropping back, fires incomplete. Horton was defended that time by Tracy Simeon, number 54. Simeon, quite a story. This is his 32nd football game this year. He began it with the World League. He played the full schedule with the Montreal Machine. And now he has appeared for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he actually has done an excellent job.
He is playing and started all year in the place of the injured person, Snow, and he's played well.
Well, Marinovich is only 1 of 4 here today for 12 yards and 1 interception and a fumble. So a much tougher start than last Sunday in the Coliseum, but he comes back high and incomplete. That was Mervin Fernandez, the intended receiver. There is a much better rush on Marinovich here this afternoon. This time it was the nose man, Saleamua and Moss, who were in on him.
Saleamua is the strongest man on the football team here in Kansas City, and he was being blocked, but he just kept coming, forced the quarterback to move a little bit, distracting just a little bit, and throw the incomplete pass.
Jeff Gossett into punt. He has had a spectacular season. Punting the ball, he'll go to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Stratford is back deep. Only 2 touchbacks this year. That's the best of the NFL. You want to try to drop it down inside the 20 if you can. He was out before the game practicing it for about 30 minutes. This one's shorter than he wants. Not a good punt by Gossett. A 21-yarder, and he's upset. First and 10 for the Chiefs. The ball at the 25-yard line. Barry Word. Big hole on the right side. Word almost to midfield. A 23-yard run by the Kansas City tailback.
Good double team off tackle by the tight end and tackle. Kick out block by the fullback, and then he just found his way. This is what, here it is. Hayes, 85, Derek Graham, 74. See, double team block now. Then a kick out. Now watch him hit that crack right there. See, that's what he can give you that Christian Okoye cannot give you. He can't bounce through the cracks. This guy can.
15 carries for 62 yards for Word so far here in the first half. Again, to the Raider 49. 3 more yards. Dick, overall, when you have a team like the Chiefs, they have missed a couple of field goals. The Raiders have turned it over. What's your feeling about how the game is going? Has it settled in? Does anybody have any kind of an advantage that you've been able to see?
Well, I think it's going just like it did last week, being dominated by the Kansas City offensive line, but they haven't come up with a big play to get in the end zone. Hey, a drop pass right there. Ball control offense is great, but you've got to come up with a big play in the passing game as well.
I want to remind everybody while we have an opportunity what's coming in. Put it down to that defensive line.
Yeah.
3rd and 7 for the Chiefs. DeBerg operating from that shotgun with McNair next to him. Four wide receivers are out. Good protection, and he fires complete to J.J. Burden, who was the key man last week. 17 yards. He's just a wisp of a receiver, but can he move when he gets daylight?
Yeah, he weighs 151 pounds, soaking wet. They ran a crossing pattern underneath that deep square in pattern, but the whole key to that was the Raiders only used a 3-man rush, and therefore DeBerg had all the time he needed to allow that pattern to develop.
Harvey Williams returns to the offense, and he was checking there with DeBerg prior to the snap. He gets the call. Fumble! The Raiders signaling that they have it. And they do indeed.
Brent, I don't have all the answers, but that is one of the negatives of rotating running backs. A running back comes in there, he's cold, he's been on the bench, then he gets in the ball game, his first carry, it isn't like he's been into the rhythm of the ball game, and the ball is not strange in his hand, but I'll tell you, they fumble more often than the guy carries it all the time. Here you can see right there, Greg Townsend reaches in and pulls it and strips it out.
Winston Moss pouncing on the loose football, and it's the Raiders' ball. Todd Marinovich only 1 of 5, an interception and a fumble. Drops it back inside and almost intercepted. Chris Martin with a chance. It was down low, made a reaching try on the ball. So Marinovich little off his rhythm in this game.
Well, he threw it behind Steve Smith, who was running a delay from the fullback position out underneath the tight end, and he just threw it a little behind him.
Nick Bell, his running back. It was 4 games ago that the Raiders last won, and that was a low-scoring game. They used 3 field goals to beat San Diego 9-7. Since then, they were beaten in overtime by Buffalo, embarrassed by New Orleans, and then lost to the Chiefs. Here is Nick Bell, breaks the first tackle, and blasts to the 33. And speaking of the Saints, we will see them later today on ABC when they host the Atlanta Falcons. Back in at running back on this 3rd down for the Raiders.
Blitz.
Stands in, intercepted. Cherry's second of the game. And run out of bounds by Marinovich at the 11-yard line. The second interception by the young Raider quarterback.
Deron Cherry picking off 2 today, gives him 52 in his career. Holy mackerel. Taking a look from the top here, you'll see Deron Cherry, number 20, just sitting in there. Now watch the ball right there. He's just sitting in there in a pre-aligned robber position, sitting up in there in that safety position in front of a deep safety. He doesn't play there very often. That is such an unusual secondary coverage that it's tough for a quarterback, inexperienced or experienced quarterback, to recognize.
That's 3 turnovers already by young Marinovich. This one giving the Chiefs an excellent scoring opportunity with a first down at the 11-yard line. Here is Barry Ward. Play fake's beautiful. Play fake, everybody. Touchdown is the signal. A beautiful play fake, and Fred Jones gets open at the back of the end zone. What Steve DeBerg does as well as anybody in the NFL, that one-handed play fake.
I think he was definitely pushed out. Here it is. They're not playing man-to-man down here. They're not playing man-to-man. See him go back into the safeties. The safety, Ronnie Lott, came up. There's McDaniel working back in there. He knocks him out of bounds. The officials right out there makes the right call. Safeties have to stay back against Steve DeBerg.
Lowry adds the extra point. There's a penalty flag down on the extra point. So celebrating over on the Chiefs sideline, and Jerry McBride.
The point is good. We have an illegal
So it's
substitution
7-0.
foul. 12 men on the field. Defense. 5-yard penalty on the kickoff.
You know, that's almost inexcusable for the Raiders. They were hit with 12 men on the field last week, twice in that game. Jones with a touchdown. It's 7-0 Kansas City. 7-0, and I'm sure a lot of Raider fans are wondering, why wasn't that play reviewed? Well, that's not included in the plays that are reviewable by instant replay. That's judgment as to when the receiver was driven out at the back of that end zone. So the touchdown automatically stands in that situation, and the extra point was added, and it is 7-0. So Kansas City finally gets on the scoreboard. The Raiders have turned it over 3 times as young Marinovich is struggling here in his first road game as a starter. Lowry. And the ball at the 13 with Jamie Holland. Holland jitterbugging. Out at the 21. Now let's take a look at the brilliant way that DeBerg play fakes with one hand.
You'll see DeBerg right here go and meet the running back who gets a nice block. You'll see that right there. See, and he extends the ball, shows it, now frees it right there. See, that brought Lott right up here into the hole. Now they're bringing the receiver in behind him. This was game planned. It was determined. I saw them run this play on the practice field the other day, and the reason they were running it, because of Lott's aggressiveness.
And DeBerg told me that he learned the one-handed play fake from Roger Staubach when he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody does it as well as DeBerg. Marinovich fires a strike now, complete to Tim Brown. Brown with a pair of touchdowns last Sunday in the Coliseum. A 16-yard reception that time. An important test here for young Marinovich, struggling early to see if he can overcome adversity and come from behind with Jay Schrader still over on that Raider sideline. He would be their number 2 quarterback today, not Vince Evans. Evans is off the active list. And for the Chiefs, a big missing item on that defense. Derek Thomas, not feeling well, has gone to the locker room. Nick Bell surrounded. 4 red jerseys in on him that time. Martin is there along with Hackett, also Everett.
Chris Martin, number 57, the outside linebacker here. Watch him sell out on this play. He didn't want to make the tackle, but he had to prevent the play from being successful. Watch him go underneath, knock the guard down. Now the running back's out there all by himself. Good job by Chris Martin.
Now the linebacker who has replaced him, number 51, Lonnie Martz, has lined up on the right side defensively. Big shoes to fill for Martz, trying to replace Derek Thomas. And they pick Martz up. No pressure from him. He fires to Allen out of bounds. Out of bounds on the far side.
See, you know what they did with Marinovich last week? There was 21 first down snaps last week. They threw on them 16 times. So that took a lot of pressure off of him of reading complicated pass coverage, because he was throwing against run defenses. Today, they're mixing it up a little bit more. It's a little tougher on him.
Sam Brady checking into the game for Marinovich's Raiders. He has been bothered by injuries, and the former speedster from Tennessee could give him something on the outside. It's 3rd and 9, and 6 defensive backs on the field. Marinovich looking for the middle, throwing to Horton for the first down. Horton still battling away to the 42-yard line. So on 3rd and 9, a 20-yard reception by Horton.
No way should Horton get across the field, even though it's zoned that easily, that efficiently. Someone should have jammed him and prevented him from getting off from that wing tight end position that time.
There is another linebacker down for the Chiefs, and this is Martin, number 57, Chris Martin. Arrowhead Stadium hosting its first playoff game ever. And the Chiefs lead the Raiders 7-0, 3:12 to go here in the first half. And the Raiders on the move. They have advanced to the Chiefs' 42-yard line, and 2 of the Chiefs' starting 4 linebackers are out right now. Lonnie Martz and Tracy Rogers are off Marty Schottenheimer's bench, along with Tracy Simeon and Dino Hackett. So the injuries starting to mount. We don't want to really use the word injury with Derek Thomas, because the report we have is an upset stomach, so we don't know his status for the second half. First down, Marinovich turned it over 3 times here so far, but a chance to bring the Raiders even on this drive. It's Nick Bell, the rookie from Iowa, with a crease on the right side. Hammers to the Chiefs' 35.
You know, Nick Bell at his size gives you a little bit what Barry Ward and Christian Okoye gives to the Kansas City Chiefs. You better hit him with more than one person. Nick, here he is, 255 pounds, has good speed, was a fine player at the University of Iowa.
In their first game, Bell down at the goal line was sandwiched by 2 Chief defenders. They fractured a rib, and Bell has been slowed ever since. Now 2nd down for the Raiders. He'll get the call again. Nick for the first down. Whoa, makes his way to the 20-yard line. He is a load.
Well, I mean, they're just blocking huge holes in there right now. Real good job by Max Montoya, number 65, turn the linebacker out and open that hole up in there. There he goes, bouncing through that hole. See, he has that mobility of a smaller back, but the size of the giant back.
The Chiefs missing an all-pro cornerback who has been out. 2 of their linebackers are out right now. And the 2-minute warning here. 7-0, Kansas City leading Los Angeles. We'll take a break. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Raiders at the Chiefs' 21-yard line with a 1st and 10 and trailing by a touchdown. Movement on the right side of the offense.
Was that Steve Wright, the big offensive right tackle? You know, out of the ball game also, Brent, is the all-pro defensive end.
Number 66, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Neil Smith is not in on the line of scrimmage, so they have 3 starters out of that front right now. What the defense has to do is not allow the other injuries to distract them and lose their concentration. These other guys are good football players. They have to step up and make the play.
Who's the leader of the defense?
Chris Martin, and he's on the bench injured.
So a heavy burden on the Chiefs' backups right now. Bell finding running room. The umpire had to get out of harm's way, didn't he? As Bell battled to the 17-yard line.
Don Mosbar and Steve Wisniewski did a real nice job of allowing him to come back inside. Here's Chris Martin on the sideline there moving around. I'll tell you, you darn near have to cut his leg off to get him. I would bet he'll be back. He's the kind you darn near have to cut it off. He loves to play football.
It's the left knee that was sprained. Martin trying to walk it off over there on the Chiefs sideline.
With the trainer.
Second down now for Milinovich and the Raiders. Here's Bell getting to the outside and taking Cherry an extra yard. Gets to the 14-yard line. This will be third down at about 3 for the Raiders with a minute to go here in the first half.
The fullback on this play, Steve Smith, did an awfully nice job. Now I see why Marty was raving about his blocking ability. Watch him on this play. This is not a lot of fun. A lot of times all it is a headache block. Watch. Boom! Right there. There's that hole up inside. Look at the flexibility and mobility of that big 255-pound back.
Third down, the Raiders need to get to the 10-yard line. Milinovich under pressure throws incomplete as Tracy Simeon came rushing up from his linebacking spot.
You know, Kansas City doesn't include their linebackers an awful lot. The inside linebackers on a blitz. This time they did it. It was a good call by defensive coordinator Bill Cowher. See, he's going to want to set up short right there and throw quickly. See, there's Bill Moss, 63, and there goes Simeon. Hey, 2 people coming in there cleanly. Someone broke down in pass protection.
And the Raiders with a 32-yard field goal attempt. First, we've got a timeout. They had sent Yeager onto the field, and Jeff was all set to go, and then the timeout was called. And that gives us an opportunity to remind you about what's coming up on ABC on New Year's in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. That's game 3 of our triple header. Here's the 32-yard field goal attempt, and it is perfect. So the Pro Bowl kicker for the AFC, Jeff Yeager, with a 33-yarder, puts the Raiders on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you, you know, Marinovich was struggling there for a while, and I would imagine the coach Shell over there, Mike White, the quarterback coach, they're starting to say, I wonder if we ought to take this kid out. You know, get him out of there and get the other fella in there, get Schrader in there. But they didn't, and he's sort of responded. He's coming back a little bit, doing a little better job.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen Al Davis stand up while the football game is still going on.
I think he's making an offensive call for the next series. That's Mike White to the right side.
Not making a call. Al wouldn't make a call. It's a suggestion. 3 turnovers, and yet they're only down by 4 points. This is Stratford, and he breaks out of the pack. There is a flag back where the Raiders kicked it off, so they probably kick it offside.
There's a flag at the other end of the field too, Brent. So we have one of those very often called pushing. With a guy like Stratford, you make people kick it to him as many as you can. You see how you lose him in there. He's tiny, he slides underneath people and gets upfield.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Number 43, kicking team, offside. Illegal block, number 80, receiving team. Penalties offset, re-kick.
So the old do-over here at the first round of the playoffs of the NFL on the road to the Super Bowl, which comes to a northern side, I guess, for only the 2nd time. I remember when it was in Pontiac, Michigan. And that, of course, was the breakthrough by the San Francisco 49ers when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Dick, I should take each of our commercial spots when we come out and ask you about each job and see if you're interested. Would you like the Chargers job?
I can start. A real buddy.
I can start.
You have done that to me before, too, you know. You are a real buddy.
Let me ask you this, because I'll save a lot of general managers' telephone calls. Are you interested in going back as a head coach, or should I check with Carroll?
I'm with ABC as long as you'll keep me.
Okay. I think that'll be a long time, to tell you the truth. Stratford Townsend in the end zone. I just can't remember a year when there has been so much turmoil in the coaching ranks as there is right now. I know that in talking to Al Davis, he indicated that he thought Bobby Ross would wind up as the head coach down at San Diego. Bobby did an excellent job, of course, not only at Maryland, but with Georgia Tech. He also told me that Chuck Knox could be headed for the Los Angeles Rams, that owner Georgia Frontiere has always liked Chuck, who was once the head coach of the Rams, and that he indeed might be headed back down there, but Al said he doesn't think that that deal is concluded. And of course, the shocking news in Cincinnati, but that opening has been closed as young David Shula steps in there and becomes the head coach. So here it is, first down, final seconds of the first half. Low-scoring first half. Raiders and the Chiefs plagued by turnovers, and it's a 7-3 score with the Chiefs ahead.
You know, the Chiefs playing totally out of personality. They are not a turnover fumble football team, and they have played that way today.
The end of our first half. And we'll return with halftime activities after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station. Well, there are some questions regarding several members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's start by going down to Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Thank you, Brent. The most important question, I think, revolves around Derek Thomas. He came out in the ball game, went into the training room. No one knew what the problem was. We found out that his heart has quickened. The pulse in his heart rate has gotten extraordinarily high, and they can't slow it down. Now, no one knows why it's gone up. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's stress trying to do such a good job in this ball game. But until the heart rate comes down, he will definitely stay out of this ball game. As we reported earlier, Martin's got a sprained knee. He is still questionable. The other questions involved in this game, I think we have to look at Todd Marinovich, and the coaches are wondering whether or not he's going to continue in this ball game. Al Davis, as we saw, talked to the coaching staff at the end of the first half. He talked with Mike White out in the hallway. I tried to stop Mike White and ask him what his thinking was on Todd Marinovich in the second half. He said absolutely no comment. So I think they're obviously thinking about his confidence, his performance in the first half, and we may see Schrader in the second half.
Lynn, thank you very much. And to follow up on that Derek Thomas note, a year ago down in Miami, J.J. Burden's heart rate quickened, and they had to take him out of the game. In fact, he missed the entire first half, and then it calmed down, and he re-entered the game. So we will continue to monitor that story regarding Derek Thomas. Now, Dick Vermeil, how about the numbers coming out of the first half?
Well, you know, remember the first quarter, Kansas City just dominated, but you can see the second quarter, the Raiders came on. Turnovers, Kansas City is +1, which is an advantage, but they've stopped themselves in a couple drives. I think the Raiders gained some momentum in that second quarter, and I'd leave the young quarterback alone. Let him play.
Well, he is over there warming up on the far sideline right now as we get ready for the second half. From all indications, he will be back as the Raider quarterback. Here's the lone touchdown in this game.
Here's Freddie Jones coming in on a play-action pass against his two-deep zone down in the goal line area. See, the safety sucked up there. He gets knocked out of bounds, ruled a touchdown. The thing about the Kansas City Chiefs, they've played the Raiders now a game and a half, and they have yet to punt the football. Last week they didn't punt. They didn't punt today.
We've had 5 turnovers and 1 touchdown. That was a half to forget for a lot of fans. Jamie Holland back deep to return. One high and short. Holland out to the 30-yard line, and we get word from the Kansas City Chiefs that Derek Thomas will not play in the second half. He is finished for the game. And also, Rob Thomas, who suffered a concussion, one of their wide receivers, he too is lost. And there is another wounded Chief at the 30-yard line.
Oh, my gosh.
So the injuries starting to mount here against Kansas City.
Well, see, when you lose a guy like Derek Thomas to the Raiders offensively at halftime, now they're in there, they're changing pass protections. They're going to go help somebody else and single up the outside linebacker taking that spot.
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Fred Jones being assisted and helped off to the sideline. Injury does not appear to be serious. Marinovich and the Raiders with a first down on their own 30-yard line.
I would anticipate them coming back and doing what they did best in that late second quarter. Run the big running back. Off tackle, inside, outside.
That would be Nick Bell, who rushed for 39 yards in the second quarter. He gets the initial call here in the second half, and he picks up another 4 yards. Another fallen player.
Danny Salamua. He really is the heart of that defensive front because he's their nose guard. Taking a look at the first half possessions, 5 plays, 7 plays, 3 plays and out, 3 plays and out. There was the second quarter momentum gainer right there. 10 plays, field goal. They've got to try to build on that 10-play series.
Dick, I think that's Rodgers who is down.
Oh, it's Rodgers
on that play. And the Raiders have not been protective of the ball here so far today. They have to feel happy that they're down by only 4 as Bell and the big rookie from Iowa to the 37-yard line. It'll be third down and about 4 yards with Bill Moss coming underneath. Now, who does the pressure fall on as far as the Chiefs' defensive players are concerned right now? Dick, who has to step up big for the 11 men that they're able to use?
Well, the one guy that really has to step up is Lonnie Marks, number 51, the outside linebacker, because their whole defensive game plan centers around finding a way to get Derek Thomas to the quarterback. Now you take him out. Your game plan doesn't change much. You stay with your scheme and just hope really that Marks can go ahead and pick it up physically and get it done.
They shift Martz way outside in this defense. He's down with Willie Gault. And the Raiders run for the first down to the 43-yard line. Neil Smith getting the stop on Allen.
You know, the Raider people have got to be a little bit excited about having a #1 pick rookie quarterback in there and starting to do a pretty good job, who did a great job last week. And then have a #1 pick and a 255-pound running back starting to dominate the ball game a little bit. That's pretty good future.
Derek Thomas lost for the game. Rodgers, too, will not return because of the knee injury. So the Chiefs have lost 2 defenders here already, and the Raiders starting to move the ball. Marinovich back in his pocket, throws short to Tim Brown. Brown extends for a Raider first down to the Chiefs' 47-yard line. And now if you're Marty Schottenheimer and a member of that Kansas City defensive coaching staff, you have to be concerned with what's happening in this game.
Here he is, the youngest quarterback to ever start an NFL playoff game. Second youngest guy, Bernie Kosar. #1.
Played his with the Cleveland Browns,
Yep.
which is where Marty Schottenheimer coached before coming here to the Chiefs. First down. Bell swings it outside. Bell, a good runner to the outside at Iowa, and he has shown flashes of that here in the National Football League. 19 yards for Bell, and another Raider first down.
Ethan Horton, number 88, the tight end, did a good job on Martin that time. Martin sold out on him. Now remember, he was injured in that second quarter, sold out on him, and then he just bounced outside, and there was no pursuit coming inside out.
One of the things...
Here's what I'm talking about. Now see, there's a good standoff right there. He's doing a good job. He actually gets him in a little bit of a turnaround, and running back finds that lane.
One of the things that the Raiders have always excelled at, when they get backed into a corner, they're one of the most dangerous teams in football. No one can rally an organization as Marinovich uses up one of his timeouts. Now that affected him in the second half last week in the Coliseum. This was something that the coaches were hoping that they would not see here today, but Marinovich has used one of his 3 timeouts. Art Shell's approach has changed completely, as last week the Raiders ran only 2 times in their second half loss to the Chiefs. Already they have run 4 times, and they may have discovered another emerging star in Nick Bell.
Well, I tell you, he's carried the ball 10 times with 65 yards. You might as well put the saddle on him and ride him. Let him run.
They'll do just that. To the 25-yard line, Neil Smith makes the stop.
See, there's the same thing we were talking about with Kansas City's running backs. Neil Smith hit him on the line of scrimmage. Neil Smith is, 285-pound defensive end, hits him, but what does Bell do? He falls forward.
They have 4 starters missing from that defense right now, one of whom is back there at that safety spot as Kevin Porter was replaced by the veteran Lloyd Burris.
See, this starts affecting their nickel coverages as well, their 6-packs.
Here's Bell, angling off to the right, reaching for the first down.
Real fine lead block by Steve Smith, the fullback from Penn State. Marty Schottenheimer told me the other day, he says, I think he's the best blocking back we face. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Concentrate on the fullback to the left side of your screen. Watch him lead through. Watch him lead through. There's the hole. Boom! Look at that nice block. Really stick and stay, shoulders in good position. Nice job.
You know, getting back on that point about the Raiders and Al Davis, he didn't like his start time. He didn't like a lot of things, but that was just the rallying cry that this organization uses. They love it when it's us against the world. And right now, it's them against the Kansas City Chiefs with Bell pounding down to the 10-yard line.
Mosbar, excuse me, Brent. Mosbar and Wisniewski are controlling the inside there right now. They are controlling it.
The Raiders have come to run here in the second half. Marinovich has thrown 2 interceptions already. And they're going to try to pound it in against this injury-riddled linebacking core of the Chiefs. There's no question what the approach is going to be from now on.
And you can see that Kansas City's been really tough down inside there to score on.
This is Bell to the 9-yard line. He'll need a couple of yards to get the first down.
You know, Bell at Iowa had a hard time staying healthy. He'd have one great game, and then he'd be dinged for a few ball games and never flash again, and then he'd come back and play well again. But remember, we saw a game tape of him against somebody that he just played outstanding a year ago. I think it was against Illinois. He dominated the game.
Yes, it was.
See, this takes a lot of pressure off Marinovich.
Here's the third down. Raiders must get inside the 7-yard line. Bell not getting it. The Chiefs defense holds as Neil Smith is really standing tall for the Chiefs right now. Yeager ready to come on the field. He will attempt the field goal.
What they did is they covered the 3 internal linemen, and Neil Smith, the left end, jumped underneath on a stunt as the design of the defense, got the penetration, stopped him. At least slowed him down there so the other people could rally and make the play.
Jeff Yeager in field goal formation. Jeff Gossett.
This is a chip shot for this guy. Here's the Pro Bowl punter for the AFC, Jeff Gossett.
He'll do the holding, and he's one of the better holders in the NFL, too. Part of this that's often overlooked. He's perfect. So the 2 teammates will go to Honolulu in the Pro Bowl, but they've got some unfinished business. They have pulled the Raiders to within a point. Boy, there's some weary, tough faces down there, both sides playing defense. Going to be under pressure now the rest of the way. Each snap of the ball, this figures to be another typical Raider Chief game. Porter injured, wasn't in on that last series. There's the kickoff by Yeager.
With that height, it's easy to cover that one.
Stratford bringing it out. Stopped short of the 20-yard line. Raiders starting to play with some of that old-fashioned Raider enthusiasm. Now the key will be that defensive front. Can they stop the Chief offense?
Well, you know, the offense is healthy. You know, the defense has got 4 guys off there, but the offense is healthy. They've got to pick up the slack now and get one of those good drives going again.
Just to give you an idea, on the first drive of the game, which came up empty, Kansas City snapped the ball 17 times. On their last 5 drives, they've had only 13 snaps as the game slowly starts to turn around. Now, the Chiefs will try to regain control of it behind their veteran quarterback, Steve DeBerg. This is Barry Word, the hammer to the 20. Scott Davis steps up defensively.
Just very fundamental, simple football. Just base blocking, meaning man-to-man straight up in front. There, see, and mush. If you get a little movement there and don't allow penetration, this guy is going to find a crack to run.
Put the Chiefs in 2nd and long. That would be the cry of the defensive assistants now if they can. Lonnie Lotta from strong safety, pressing at the line to help out. And that time the Chiefs win. First down. Barry Word crashing through.
See, When the offense gets a good push like this, watch the offensive right side of the line, not the left. See, now he comes back up in there. See them? They kept pushing the defense over there, moved him beyond pursuit, gets a little slight cut back up through the crack.
How many times have we seen number 42 defensively with the 49ers, now with the Raiders? He'll take you to the hit on defense. No one hammers you quite like the veteran Ronnie Lott. Yes, he's slowed up a step, not as good as he used to be, but still good enough to intercept 9 passes, including one in the first half.
They have moved Lott over to a corner position to the tight end side. It's where he can get in that off-tackle hole and out of the deep safety position.
They have moved him from that position where he came up on the play fake, remember. On their touchdown, it was Ronnie Lott who stepped up and froze a step, and they ran past him. And that is something that they were able to do last week as well. So Lott now moves over to the left corner.
Now, I think it's only going to be against a slot formation where he had to cover anybody who would be the tight end. The 2 corners are over into the slot. Here he goes again. Yes, he is over toward the tight end.
You bet he is. Anderson back there in center field. Chasing with McDaniel. DeBerg to throw it. DeBerg fires incomplete. And the tight end, Jonathan Hayes, was covered as he came across the offensive formation. Greg Townsend putting the pressure on DeBerg that time.
Jonathan Hayes, that's a zone stretch pattern, and he's supposed to get in there, and Jonathan slowed up.
Dick, there's an awful lot of things that are going on in this game that did not occur last week in the Coliseum. You've really got to wonder about the plan for that game last Sunday, as Rob Thomas is able to check back into the game. So his head obviously cleared, and that's good news for the Chiefs. Here's a 3rd and 9 now from the shotgun. DeBerg will try to find somebody open 9 yards at least downfield to keep it alive. Over the middle and almost intercepted.
Ronnie Lott should have intercepted. They went to the robber defense. They gave him the pressure. They gave him the look of a 2-deep zone. He set him up to throw it in there. He read the 2-deep zone, and then he took himself out of the 2-deep zone and drove that inside middle area and should have picked it.
Here's the first. Brian Barker will punt. He has to have the most rested leg in football. He didn't punt at all last Sunday. That was the first time in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs that they did not punt at least once in a game. And here he is today for the first time. Tim Brown, a dangerous return man, back for the Raiders. A high, beautiful punt. Brown from the 22-yard line comes back to the middle of the field and turns it up to the 34. A 12-yard return off a 48-yard punt. Well, the focus again shifts to that beaten-up Kansas City defense. The 4 linebackers on the field are Lonnie Martz, Irvin Randall, Dino Hackett, and Chris Martin, who is able to return. Simeon not in there. Derek Thomas out for the day after an irregular heartbeat. Firing to Tim Brown on the far side for 3 yards. So the Raiders, the only team to win Super Bowls in 3 different decades. After losing Super Bowl II to Green Bay, they defeated Minnesota in '76. Then in '80, they beat Dick Vermeil's Philadelphia Eagle team. And in '83, they beat Washington 38-9. And there's the architect, Al Davis, and what a hero that is in front of him. George Blanda, one of the greatest competitors I've ever been around. Out of the Chicago area, played quarterback at age 49. Here's Bell sweeping to the outside, and Deron Cherry getting him out of bounds short of the first down. And there is another Chief player down. That is J.C. Pearson, the cornerback.
Well, he's not used to coming in and forcing the run like he was forced to that time. And I think he got tied up with Steve Smith, the big 240-pound fullback from Penn State.
He may not be able to continue. He appears to be in pain here. He gets back into the huddle.
Go after him deep.
Nick Bell, 16 carries for 88 yards. And a 3rd down for young Marinovich and the Raiders.
The last time in this situation, they ran the ball.
Marinovich has protection to the middle, and Brown with a sidestep and to the 42-yard line.
He is so dangerous in that slot position. He comes off and he runs that little inside move. Watch him, he's in the slot on J.C. Pearson. Now last week in the same formation, here he is. Now Pearson's playing him right there, number 24. See, he wasn't hurt too bad, but they did go after him.
Just what you said to do, and they made it work.
If the guy stays out in the field and he's limping a little bit, go after him.
Dick, would you sell out a little bit more if you were the defensive play caller now? Would you send more blitzers in?
I don't think I would, because I don't have the full secondary intact.
Short drop by Marinovich. Plenty of time. Can't find an open receiver. And Neil Smith bats the ball away.
He wanted to throw a little hitch and go. And J.C. Pearson backed off, so the receiver didn't run it. See, he wanted to throw a little hitch and go there, and then it holds it, and he just gets back to good pressure by Neil Smith. See, Neil Smith has got to pick up the tempo without a Derek Thomas in there. He's your next best pass rusher. They're blocking him with 3 guys, but he just keeps coming.
And Marinovich pays a price. How'd you like to have that load fall on you, folks? There's a great one out of Nebraska.
This guy is just starting to come into his own.
You bet. And he's the ringleader now. Here's Bell, and there was Smith, number 90, coming in from behind to make another stop for the Kansas City defense. Well, the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl comes your way tomorrow. The Georgia Bulldogs will battle the Rainbows. You get in your polo and drive around. Yeah, that's the deal. Okay, 3:10 to go now. 3rd and 8 from Marinovich and the Raiders. Great time, throws the swing to Allen. Ball comes free on the hip, and the Chiefs pounce on it. Lonnie Martz strips the ball from Marcus Allen.
That was a big play by Lonnie. We've been talking about him. He had to come up with one. Bill Cowher, the defensive coordinator, congratulates him. You'll see him on your screen here from the other side of the field. He'll appear from the right side of your screen, number 51. Because he's looking, and he lays it off. Now he'll appear from the right side of your screen. The ball's in the right, and he just reaches in there with his right hand, strips it out.
Did you see Saleh Amua pounce on that loose ball, recover it?
And he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He reached with that right hand, not with intent to make the tackle, but with intent to create the fumble.
Huge play by Martz, stripping the ball free. That is the 4th turnover of this game by the Raiders. Now it's the Chiefs offense. DeBerg and Barry Word to the 41-yard line, looking to bring precious seconds off that clock. Ball control so important to the Chiefs now to try and give that defense a rest on this near side.
You know, ball control is important, and it's become more important when they change the timing mechanics in the NFL. But even more important than ball control is execution of the higher percentage of big plays. You get more big plays, you beat the ball control.
Here's the pitch, and it's Word close to midfield. Let's get a check on Derek Thomas again, and here's Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Brent, we don't have any more details as to specifically what Derek's problem is, but just this minute, he is in an ambulance. They are taking him out of the stadium and to a hospital. I asked the doctor who's in charge of trauma for this team, and he could not tell me what hospital that they were going to, but Derek Thomas is in an ambulance, and he is leaving the stadium.
All right, Lynn, thank you very much. Here with the seconds ticking away in the 3rd quarter, a 1st down for the Chief offense. Barry Word hammering away again at the middle of that defense, picking up 3 yards that time. Dick, to follow up on your point about big plays, last week they had 4 passes. I'm talking about Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs now. 4 passes over 20 yards, and today not a single one over 20 yards. They had 5 rushes longer than 10, and only 2 here this afternoon.
Well, see, either they're not calling the plays that ask the quarterback to go downfield, or when they are called, the defense is taking them away and they've got to lay it off.
So you think maybe the Chiefs should open it up just a little bit
They've got to get the ball downfield.
And here's Barry Word running free. There's their best play of the game as far as a running back is concerned. 19 yards for Word. 1st down at the Raider 27-yard line. And again, that faking ability of DeBerg.
Here it is, good double team block right here. Kick out by the fullback and bring the backside guard through. Fundamental play, run by good college teams, good high school teams. Woody Hayes would love it. Look at that hole up inside. Great double team, good coming off by Jonathan Hayes. Gets a brush block downfield, long gain. We are talking about gains of better than 20. There it is.
And Christian Okoye replaces Word for the first time in the Kansas City backfield. Gets his initial carry of the game to the 25-yard line. Now, your feeling is when you got a hot back, leave him in the game. You don't like to see fresh runners come into this situation.
I don't, because I've seen fresh runners fumble the ball. You know what shook up this whole series? Is on one of those running plays, just a few plays back, they tossed the ball and went outside wide. That's the first time they've gone outside. That stretches the defense.
And we'll return with the fourth quarter. It's the Los Angeles Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Right after a word from our ABC station. Kansas City leading Los Angeles by a point, 7-6. And if the Chiefs can score either a touchdown or a field goal here, you will go back to that defensive effort by Lonnie Martz as perhaps turning this game around. It was Martz who stripped the ball away from Marcus Allen when it looked like the Raiders were going to be going in. And that has turned this football game completely around. It's Barry Word to the 23-yard line, and this will be a third down play coming up for the Chiefs. And Dick, here are the numbers.
Well, you remember at halftime, looking back, we said that the second quarter the Raiders had really balanced out the stats because they were so out of line coming off that first quarter. Taking a look at here, time and possession now almost identical, though the Raiders are -2. When you're -1, you lose 3 out of 4 football games in the National Football League. Total yards in favor of the Raiders.
Now from the shotgun. The Chiefs need to get inside 17-yard line. DeBerg fires for the first down to Fred Jones.
That time he got time to allow the pattern to develop. That took some time. He looked at the coverage. He moved around. See, he didn't want to go there automatically. The coverage forced him there. There he is on Lionel Washington, bump and run. He gets a hand on him. Now he can't touch him any longer. He pushes in. Now he comes back for the football. See, you must come back for that football, thrown perfectly.
Howie Long back in the middle of that Raider defensive line. He'll get down at left tackle. Raiders looking for a big play. Chiefs will try to finish it off. Great fake again by DeBerg. Drops underneath, and it is the fullback Jones. Bill Jones with his second reception of the day, and that play has caught the Raider defense twice.
They brought the wide receiver in motion to clear it, and then they bring the fullback again. He fakes the block, and he's out in the flat as the tight end goes to the corner. Again, they ran this earlier in the ball game. See, Jones, not a runner, he is a receiver. There he is, catching that ball and heading toward the end zone. Plus, he's a load to bring down.
Second down, Word. And he crashes for a first and goal for the Chiefs.
Marty Schottenheimer. Well, I tell you, over the last few years, has anybody done a better job than Marty Schottenheimer? They have struggled, and didn't Lott say that in the opening piece? He was concerned about the fourth quarter.
First down.
Last week, they scored a couple of touchdowns, the Raiders did, but they gave the Chiefs 10 big points, including that 53-yard scoring play. DeBerg to Burden. Now first and goal. Jones in front of Word. You would think that that would be the call. Word battling toward the goal line. Down just short of it. Winston Moss making the play defensively.
He was tackled by Winston Moss.
fullback, Bill Jones, 43. He is the lead blocker on all of these plays. And I talked to him on the practice field the other day, and I asked him about it. He said, my neck is 2 inches shorter from the start of the season to now. 43. Now watch him get the kick out block right there. He kicks it out, prevents the penetration so the running back can turn back up inside.
James Saxon, number 21, checks into the backfield. They have 3 running backs, and it is Saxon at the tailback spot behind Jones, and Word will come behind the 2 of them, reaching for the goal line.
Barry Word on the carry.
See, Saxon is another big back out of San Jose at 235. He's a fine blocker and an excellent special teams player, and I have seen him run real well during the preseason.
Third down is coming up, but I got a question. What do you do if you're Kansas City and you just miss by inches again?
You go ahead and I think run it.
Go ahead, you've got 2 plays here to put it in. You wouldn't kick the field goal if you come up just inches short.
I think so. I tell you,
now, this is
the
third
way
down coming up.
Remember what the Raiders did in the 4th quarter last week? A couple big plays. Hey, they brought the game back.
Well, certainly Marty Schottenheimer and his staff have already made that decision. 3rd and goal. Word again, and I believe he's short of it. He was stuffed down there. Ronnie Lott stepped up along with Ellison.
7-6. The field goal would put at least them out of the reach of the field goal.
The boos, the reaction for Nick Lowry.
They're going to go ahead and kick it. Real good back linebacker play. You'll see the linebackers come up over the top. The defensive line. See the linebackers up in the air right there? Excellent play by Ricky Ellison. Excellent play.
Now, the thought here by Schottenheimer is if you add the field goal, you're up by 4. And that means it would take a touchdown to beat you. You could not lose to a field goal. So he's playing a numbers game right now. That's why he's going to have Lowry attempt this field goal. An 18-yarder, and of course, that's just a huge number. The fact that he's never missed 3 in a game, and he hasn't missed 3 here today either. He puts 3 up on that scoreboard. It is Kansas City 10, the Raiders 6. Lowry's field goal making this a 10-6 game. And remember the last time on the kickoff, Lowry kicked it high but short, and Jamie Holland was able to give the Raiders pretty good field position. One thing working against the Raiders right now is Kansas City's ability to dominate the clock. They took 7.5 minutes off with that field goal drive. We've got 10:26 to go in the game. They have to be thinking touchdown right away. They've got to go after it here and not rely on 2 scoring opportunities left in this game.
They've got plenty. I just keep doing what I've been doing. And what they've done best.
They may loosen it up just a little bit more right now. They may give Marinovich a little more of an opportunity here. We'll have to see. Lowry this time takes it a little bit deeper to the side. Holland has got it in the 8. Cuts back to the middle. And Holland in a foot race again gives them good field position as he gets beyond the 30-yard line and out at the 32. So Jamie Holland, who played collegiately at Ohio State, he was recruited by Earl Bruce while Earl was still there with the Buckeyes, was a wide receiver for that team, and now it'll be the Raiders coming back with young Marinovich. Boy, you would never know that this is only his 2nd start. Those numbers are not nearly as impressive as a week ago, but his behavior has been. He's turned it over 3 times here today, and he remains unruffled, calmly bringing his team back up to the line. What a future he has ahead of him. 1st and 10 now for Los Angeles. They're going to throw it on 1st down, and he'll drop it off to Fernandez, who's working his way underneath. Hammered at the 41-yard line by Chris Martin, one of the linebackers.
See, again, throwing on 1st down eliminates some of the coverage problems you're going to get on 2nd and long and on 3rd down when you're throwing those down. Makes it much easier for him. Coach Robisky, Terry Robisky, who calls the plays, doing a good job.
Now, one of the things the Raiders have done, they have taken Allen out. He turned the ball over, and Nick Bell, who has been their most impressive runner, will be back there at tailback. Smith is the fullback, and he's a good one in front of him. They need a couple of yards for the 1st down. Here's Bell on a cutback into the middle of that defense and close to midfield. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Irvin Randall, one of those backup linebackers, making the stop. And Nick Bell with 18 carries for 98 yards for Art Shell's Raiders.
You saw Robisky sending in the signals. Most people think signaling systems in this is very complicated. Actually, they really aren't. They're very simple.
Robisky, of course, you've heard the story many times. He's the chess master as far as the Raiders are concerned. And right now, he's matched against the defensive assistants of the Kansas City Chiefs. Milinovich on a quick straight drop. Deflected and caught. That was Horton, the tight end, who caught the deflection. A couple of decades ago, that would have been ruled an incompletion. But with the change of the rules, your own man can deflect it, you can catch the ball.
See, the man in motion crossed the formation right here. Now you see him coming left to right now. He went across the formation, pulled the coverage that way, then came back underneath. Batted ball. You're right, a few years back.
They still don't know if Mel Renfro touched that ball in the Super Bowl. 1st and 10 now for the Raiders. The ball is at the Chiefs' 40-yard line. Milinovich with the team on the move and 8:20 to go. It's not been a good game, but it could be a great ending. Milinovich back short, throws complete. Fernandez again.
Again, a pass on 1st down. See, now it's easier to call that 2nd down run. Then you only run 3 or 4, you're up to 3rd and inches or so, or maybe you make the 1st down. You can see that he's getting a little bit stronger, a little bit better. 1st half, 3 for 11. 2nd half, 7 and 8. Can't do much better. You talk about growing up in a hurry.
What you like here is a young man who is struggling, who comes back in a playoff game and starts bringing your team back down the field in the 4th quarter. The hand to Bell, he had to extend, almost had to chase him down, and Bell does the rest. Takes it for a Raider 1st down.
Again, Ethan Horton did a good job of locking up Lonnie March, number 51, at the top of your screen. You'll see they get locked up here, and he cannot disengage. You don't always have to knock him on your back to do a good job. See, ooh, he's holding, then he let go. See, he just stays on him, stays on him. Lonnie Martin has got to throw him and grounds to the outside.
Let's see now if the Raiders come back with another 1st down pass. Ball is at the Chiefs' 25-yard line. They stack the wide receivers on his right. He'll hand to Smith, the fullback, and the fullback gets about a yard before Saliamua wrestles him down.
Dan Saliamua, as we said earlier, the strongest guy. So if you're going to end up running into a back with a defensive lineman, the back has the disadvantage of running into that guy. It's like running into a stone wall.
Marcus Allen off the Raiders sideline, replaces Bell. 2nd down and 10.
More apt to be a pass with Marcus in there.
Actually, it's about 2nd and 9. They gained about a yard on that play. Milinovich being blitzed from the blind side. Coming off hard was Chris Martin. With the left-handed quarterback, you're able to bring the linebacker off the left side of the defense. And as soon as he saw Milinovich going back, he knew he wasn't going to look in his direction. And he circled in and took him down.
Chris Martin beats Steve Wright, the offensive right tackle, to the outside. You'll see him right here. Come right out the outside. Don't have time.
3rd down. Milinovich with that short drop. Good protection, throwing high and intercepted. Intercepted by Everett. And Everett down at the 34-yard line. A killing turnover by young Milinovich. A reeling defense back on its heels comes up with another turnover. The Raiders turn it over 5 times, 3 of them interceptions thrown by Milinovich, who also fumbled, and Marcus Allen fumbled. And when you come into a playoff game and you turn it over 5 times, it's going to be awfully hard going to try and win the game. 5:49. Now Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs, they can go to work on that clock. And they do, with Barry Word, who's been the workhorse, and he is stuffed. Ricky Ellison cleaning up. And again, let's go back now to Everett's interception.
You can see right here, Everett is back here. The receiver goes and runs right by him into the end zone, and for some reason, Marinovich didn't throw it to him. Now Everett's just playing zone, watching the quarterback. See, now watch, he runs right on by him. See? I don't know what he did that for, but you can see here on your screen, he's going to get decked now. He's going to get over. Oh, I threw an interception. I'm going to make the tackle. No, you're not. Here comes Moss after you. Welcome to the NFL.
2nd and 10 for the Chiefs. Off that fake, DeBerg moves the pocket, deflected, incomplete.
Excellent play by Winston Moss, number 99. Fine linebacking play.
Ronnie Lott coming over to deflect the ball, and he injured a wrist on the play. Lott in obvious pain.
You know, guys like that in their career, they may not be able to run quite as quick as they used to, but they read things so much quicker, they get there just as fast or faster than a guy that runs quicker.
2 very important defensive plays by the Raiders. And the Chiefs now, instead of being in 3rd and short, they've got 3rd and 10, and DeBerg will go back into that shotgun. McNair has not been used as a receiver out of that formation yet today. Davis coming hard, and DeBerg goes down at the 25-yard line. The Chiefs are forced to punt.
See, they were running a screen, and you don't hold on the screen very long. Raiders just did a good job of taking away the screen, and the rush just got to it.
Dick, 4:54 to go. You got a problem now if you're the Raiders. Marinovich is having a lot of difficulty. Would you first of all go after this punt right now and try to block it? Or would you take the ball instead of return with Tim Brown?
I'd let him return to Tim Brown.
Here's Brown. Down at the 39-yard line. 8-yard return off a 43-yard punt. The young man will be coming back with 4:30 to go. Well, Dick, what about Jay Schrader? If you were over there on the sidelines, would you give him a shot here?
If he were healthy, I think I'd do it. I really do. You know, the 3 interceptions, boy, it's hard to win, and he's liable to throw the other.
I want to say one thing about young Marinovich. He will not quit.
No,
He'll come back. Here's Nick Bell, and he is stuffed. Kevin Porter comes up from his safety position, and remember, he was dinged in the first half and missed a couple of series.
This is what Kevin Porter does best. You know, he goes up there and takes him on, and he meets him 3 yards deep, and there's no room to get outside. He flushes it back inside and stuffs the fullback. Nice job by Kevin Porter.
Boy, this Kansas City defense has shown a lot of heart today, haven't they? Lost one of their great players in Derek Thomas. Also missing a couple of others. 2nd down, Marinovich over the middle has Horton, and Horton to the 32-yard line. He was wide open.
See, I'm pretty sure they went double zone coverage. When that happens, that onside linebacker has to stop him, not let him off clean. So you should not allow that tight end off the line of scrimmage cleanly. He reads the double zone. Good read. He knows what the coverage is. Irvin Randall, 55, working over the left side of the screen. There he hits that seam right in between the 2 safeties. Now they should collapse and make the tackle, but they want help from the linebacker.
On 1st down, drops it back to Smith, the fullback, and he's to the 24-yard line.
Good job again by Marinovich. He wanted to throw left. It wasn't there. He turned around and just dropped it to his outlet.
The Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining. They used 1 of their 3 back in the 3rd quarter. They trail it by 4 points. They'll need to finish this drive off. They cannot gamble on getting the ball back. They do not need a field goal right now. They have got to go the distance here. On 2nd down, drops it to Bell. Bell to the 20-yard line. There's a flag. Holding face mask against the offense.
Boy, I can remember standing in that position and a call come up like that. It just, I mean,
Personal foul, face mask, number 66, offense. 15-yard penalty, second down.
You'll see right here, I think he gets left hand out. Now watch. He steps up in there. Neil Smith takes the inside. He's got that left hand up underneath and in the face mask like that. They're going to call it.
That was our first penalty of the half, but it was huge. Bell had reached the 20-yard line. The ball is brought back to the 39-yard line. Second down for the Raiders, and another penalty marker comes down.
They're beating themselves now.
Ball start, number 66, offense.
And it's right again. That's a loss of 24 yards following Nick Bell's run. They need to get to the 19 for a first down. And Art Shell and the Raiders will take the 2 extra seconds too.
Art Shell has that great demeanor under pressure. He never really appears to be flushed or confused.
Well, let's pause 5 seconds to allow our ABC stations to identify themselves.
This is Channel 7, WABC-TV, New York.
Oh, with Dick Vermeil, I'm Brent Musburger. We've come down to the last 2.5 minutes here of the fourth quarter. Kansas City hosting its first playoff game in 20 years, and the first ever in Arrowhead Stadium. They lead the Los Angeles Raiders by 4, 10-6. Second down for the Raiders. Incomplete and batted away by Lonnie Martz with another penalty flag. But for Martz, a second huge defensive play.
They're calling a play over here, Brent, opposite to throw, and I think they're calling it on Kevin Porter. Defense.
Defensive holding is major. That's an automatic first down.
Holding, number 57, defense.
Huge.
5-yard penalty, automatic first
just
down.
Huge.
Here it is. You can see good protection. He's sitting back. He's looking downfield. Now watch him look right in that hole, trying to get it to him right there. And here comes the linebacker, Chris. That's Lonnie Martz making a nice play there.
They split the 2 running backs. And Bell will run behind the left side on 1st and 10 for a couple of yards. Martz making the play, but suddenly, without any flags flying in the second half, we have an avalanche as another one comes down.
You know, they called that at 57. He's not even in the ball game, Coach. He's on the sideline.
Holding, number 88, offense. 10-yard
Ethan
penalty,
Horton.
first down.
Here he is at the top of your screen. See, he reaches, he's got him around the waist, and he's got that left hand outside. Yeah, see, he's got him. They're going to call that when they see it. Many times they don't call it, even when they see it.
So 3 penalties against the Raiders. The ball is back on the 49-yard line. Still first down after the holding call. Milinovich dropping back to Marcus Allen, and another flag.
The umpire threw this one. Oh, my God.
We've had 5 plays and 5 flags.
Now, guys, let's pick up the flags and quit throwing them and play football.
Oh. I must say that I think the Raiders have lost their poise on this drive. And that's something that they have tried to feature through the years. That's been Al Davis's battle cry. Of course, in fairness to the offender on this one.
We have 2 offensive fouls. Ineligible receiver downfield on the pass. Number 76. That penalty is declined. We have pass interference. Number 81. Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Whew, you talk about going backwards.
Now let's try to keep this in some perspective. When they were hit with the first flag, Nick Bell had reached the 20-yard line on that run. That was a 1st and 10. That ball now has come all the way back to the Raiders' 41-yard line. That's almost 40 yards they have lost. 2:22 to go. They've got a first down. Firing high and intercepted by Martz. What an afternoon Lonnie Martz has turned in for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You have to credit Neil Smith a little bit for that because he really gave Marinovich lunch back there. You'll see what I'm talking about here. He feels the pressure. Here it comes. He throws it, and he really gets belted there. Now the ball is batted off the receiver's hands. Horton into Lonnie Martz, and that's the second big play he's made today. He caused the fumble that first time on the other big play when he stripped Marcus Allen.
.215. Neil Smith and Lonnie Martz deserve gold stars for their work on this embattled Kansas City defense. The Raiders had every opportunity here this afternoon, and they have been their own worst enemies.
Raiders have 2 timeouts left. They've got to use them.
The 2-minute warning. Kansas City closing in on a playoff victory.
Coming back on that last interception, straight drop back pass. Lonnie Martz will come out from the left-hand side of the street, sit right in the middle there. See the ball batted in the air by the receiver. Ethan Horton was thrown a little high and behind him, and he just couldn't come up with a play. 13 turnovers the last 2. My gosh, no way.
Second down. Steve DeBerg in Kansas City. There was movement. Barry Word got the carry. Greg Townsend jumped into that neutral zone.
Oh, Joe.
So another 5-yard penalty against the Raiders, who suddenly up and self-destructed.
Look at this. The last 3 drives, they go from field goal to fumble to interception to interception. There's no way you can win. Absolutely no way.
Well, a week ago, it was the Raider defense. This week, it's the Raider offense. Barry Word. And they will close out on a very low note with 4 straight losses if they don't get this ball back.
They come in here against their longtime rival, the Raiders, favored by 5 points. The Raiders, with a quarterback controversy, come back with their youngster. The Chiefs early on dominated the game but didn't have any points to show for it. The Raiders hung in the neighborhood, but then they couldn't do anything as they continued to turn the ball over, and then they were plagued by penalties. And now Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs will see what they can do with the clock. Word for the first down.
That is a gigantic big play with 1:42. Had him stopped, less than the first down.
Marty Schottenheimer right there in the middle of the extracurriculars. He has lost enough players already here today. He doesn't want to see anybody else injured and out. This team may have to go on to Buffalo. Howie Long was the guilty party.
Probably just out of frustration. Howie Long, top middle of your screen, number 75. Working down. See, he's being pushed there. He keeps working into the play right there. He's right top middle of your screen. Now there's some blocking going on. Howie, here he comes from the right side now. He's going over. Hey, you can't do that to one of my teammates. And that starts it. Now comes Jonathan Hayes. Oh, my gosh. Here comes Coach Schottenheimer.
6 penalties for 60 yards this quarter.
They can flop on this one now.
And the Kansas City Chiefs will wait to see what happens with the New York Jets and the Houston Oilers tomorrow. Marinovich and the Raiders will regroup and look ahead to next year. As this telecast is presented by authority of the NFL, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
Kansas City going to head and move into the next bracket. It's Lamar Hunt.
He's had a wonderful organization here for years in Kansas City, and it's such a pleasure to see this team do well and see all these fans come back and support this team. He really is one of the class owners in this league. Al Davis, of course, is perhaps the most competitive, or certainly among them. And this is eating him alive as he came in here hoping to, what he said, steal a victory and move along in the playoffs. But it was not to be, as the Raiders have self-destructed.
Brent, what I was going to say there before we change those shots is Kansas City, yes, is going to move along, but they're going to have to play a lot better to be considered a threat in that next bracket.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, they've got to be very concerned about the injuries and the problem Derek Thomas. I know that Hank Williams is very concerned about Derek, who was taken to the hospital. He and the Country and Western Star are close friends. They spoke on the telephone yesterday afternoon, as a matter of fact. And here's the young man, Martz, who stepped in.
Free agent from, he's a free agent from Tulane.
Did just a sensational job here today. Stripped the ball away, intercepted it. And Lamar and his family up here in their private box with some friends over there enjoying the game. So the playoffs return to Kansas City for the first time in 20 years, and they come back on a victorious note. And that exercises some of the memories of that Christmas Day against the Miami Dolphins, when the Chiefs were beaten in 2 overtimes. And there's the man who hired Marty Schottenheimer, a close friend of Dick Vermeil's, Carl Peterson. He too has done just an outstanding job down here, as Marty concerned about the clock and wanting to get him. These final 20 seconds can't tick off quickly enough for Schottenheimer and the Chiefs right now.
Yeah. The program has come a long ways in 3 years.
Yeah, it's great for this city.
Yes, it is. This city has handled it well, and I think they're going to become one of the fine NFL cities, not that they haven't been in the past.
So Art Shell and the Raiders go back licking their wounds. Steve DeBerg, Marty Schottenheimer, and the Chiefs move on to the next round.